restart. Schools are set up for the masses, not the individual. Remember, that concern's legitimate, but there's no independent studies major in med school. Getting out of the classrooms and going into the clinics, you just cannot wait. After the rite of passage from the basic sciences, now the parties are over and you face the reality and even some apprehension about going into the complex, challenging day-to-day settings of healthcare in hospitals and clinics. You will be taking care of patients with the teams in healthcare, doing the daily work of really doctoring. So let's go see some patients together. I wish we could. Someday soon we will. For now, stay with me in this short video session. It's going to be worth your time. As a seasoned clinical leader, I'm going to give you high-impact strategies that you can start using to set up your third year in medical school for greatest degrees of success on your own journey. There's a lot here, so start and stop the video player if you need to. I've already produced a session on how it all starts strategically with you and your family mapping out that life strategy. Go back and watch it on the channel. Today, I'm going to take you through the sequence of the third year and that course lineup for success, all the way towards year 4 and beyond in the residency years of graduate medical education. First up, what will be the typical clinical course lineup for a third-year student in the healthcare professions? Be it nursing, medicine, the answer is, it depends. Take a long, detailed look at your school's own course curriculum map and view this information in the context of the broader national landscape, however. The larger real world of medical education and your healthcare career journey, residency beyond med school. Most schools now include the following course clerkships, a term that comes right out of the law field. Clerking, as most seasoned lawyers would say under judges or attorneys. Diving into the real world, not passively sitting in a law school or a med school or a nursing school classroom any longer, but getting immersed up close and personal and professional with these colleagues in the day-to-day work of the profession. Even in nursing, they're called clinicals, because thankfully, they're no longer students just sitting around in the classrooms passively learning by osmosis. Think about it, starting IVs, pushing the drugs through those IVs that you're soon going to be helping with them at the bedside. You cannot get those skills in nursing or doctoring online or from a lecture session. We call this active learning, and that's the sequence and the essence of the third year in med school. In med school, the clinical course sequence is most typically going to include these commonly chosen specialties, that are the representation of the overall body of knowledge and skills that you will need for next career steps. Think about it, surgery, operative work in the ORs procedurally, but also pre-op and post-op care. Internal medicine, one of my fields. Medical care for adults in all settings, acute, chronic, emergent, critical care. Pediatrics, infants, children, adolescents, and young adults through age 21. Obstetrics and gynecology, women, the developing embryo, the fetus, the growing child, all that will soon be delivered. Family medicine, a field chartered in the 60s. Psychiatry, founder was Dr. Benjamin Rush, signer of the Declaration of Independence. Emergency medicine, mid-20th century development as hospitals grew and medicine became more complicated, high-tech, trauma-based care, triaging patients with acute, complex illnesses. Then you ask, but I'm missing out. FOMO, fear of missing out. Fear is not a strategy. You're saying, I want to go into ophthalmology or dermatology or anesthesia or urology or radiation oncology. Okay, so you're in that special 1% of students that wants to do something that's not going to be in that traditional third-year set. But schools are set up for the masses, not the individual. Remember, that concern's legitimate, but there's no independent studies major in med school. I've seen some students try to find that path and think they can do it, create it. It does not work, colleagues, and it will never endear you to your deans as you play special student and create unnecessary drama. Those not so commonly selected specialties are not the mainstay in the third-year course menu. They're the selectives, meaning you're going to have to carve out time. If you want to be an ophthalmologist like your mother, an orthopedist like your uncle, you're going to need mentors. Mentors in those fields of study. The board-certified doctors actually doing the daily work of ophthalmology, orthopedics, anesthesia, dermatology. Those students are following those career coaches in the specialties. Reach out. Next, fork in the road from classrooms to clinical settings. You need to seek guidance and get mentorship around the top several specialty fields you're interested in pursuing. If you've not already, this is an enthusiastic clarion call for you to get physician advisors, coaches, and mentors who are actively engaged in doctoring. There are nearly 300 super specialties of medicine and surgery. So, medical student, doctor, colleague, what are your top 3 specialty choices as of today? If you had to apply to the match this moment, today, what are your top 3 fields? You really cannot wait any longer to narrow down that list from the specialty menu of vast options. Set aside some time on your block schedule, now, a weekend. Fully investigate those 3 options. It's the big picture perspective view that I'm committed to sharing on this channel. And you're going to be glad you did your homework, and that you will succeed in your career because your professional calling's a fit with your interests, skills, talents, abilities, and passions. What I call the gateway specialty fields represent 30 basic specialty choices that are in the match. Check out our website at mentoringdocs.com. We'll give you a listing of those specialty options in the match and some useful information. As you look at that big picture, start narrowing down now the list for your own career selection. Let me expand the view a bit. With a wide-angle lens, you can see clearly the big picture. Some of these gateway specialties are incredibly traditional. They're time-tested and proven. Think with me. General surgery, back to the time of the Mayo brothers. In the late 1800s, trains were coming into play. Neurosurgery, super specialized. It came much later, but now it's available to students like you in the match. Urology, another surgical pathway, still competitive, smaller residency programs, but not as long an educational pathway as neurosurgery. Internal medicine, one of my fields, started by Sir William Osler, Johns Hopkins Medicine, 1889. If you want to become a cardiologist or gastroenterologist or pulmonologist or critical care doctor or oncologist, you've got to go through internal medicine first. It's foundational. Some students might magically or wishfully think you can become a cardiologist after medical school. I visited with some of those students recently. Think again. Our session corrected some major misperceptions. Where were students getting their information? Social media posts are not generally reliable sources of career development information. Think about it. Students do not understand the pathway to becoming a cardiologist. I didn't. Faculty, deans, and mentors do. Physician mentors, find them. Find internists, cardiologists who will sit down with you and recognize that to become a cardiologist, a heart doctor specialist, the pathway is internal medicine first. Graduate medical education, finish a 3-year residency in internal medicine, interview again, match again into a cardiology fellowship program. Want to thread fine, delicate catheters into wonderful, hard-to-reach parts of the human anatomy and stents in places of coronary arteries? On your cardiac cath table as someone is having a myocardial infarction, aka what a layperson would call a heart attack, it's a long educational career pathway, colleague. Another 2 to 3 years after cardiology, another match. It's some but not all of what you think it might be as a student. You're going to be on call a lot, right? You're going to save lives, but you've got to really know how to do those procedures. 30 different gateway specialties. Residency, fellowship, way beyond medical school, and fast tracking. We all wanted to fast track. Internal medicine came about after World War II. 100-year-old colleagues would say, I was on the fields and battles at Normandy. And then guess what? My buddies and I came back and I did a year of medicine in Boston, and then maybe a year of heme or cardiology. But those days are over. President Eisenhower had a heart attack and they kept him in Denver for 3 or 4 weeks, most of the summer as he recovered. Now we've got thousands of pharmaceuticals, stents, pacemakers, devices, drugs, defibrillators, heart transplants. Not a path for the faint of heart. All mind required. Right? Demanding on-call schedules. Work comes ahead of life. Middle of the night. Long days in the cath lab. Clinics. Tough decisions. New therapeutics and technologies to master over a lifetime of study and work. A few of these gateway specialties are available to the match. They might surprise you in the match. Here's some late-breaking additions in just the last decade. Nuclear medicine. Allergy. Immunology. Osteopathic musculoskeletal medicine. The newest result came about when osteopathic and allopathic schools said we're going to work together and catalyze a single matching program for all students. International, osteopathic, and allopathic, everybody in the same match. Navigate over to mentoringdocs.com. It'll get you kick-started and pushed in the right direction with some reliable sets of information so that you can know how to proceed. At the end of this short video, I'm coming back to a big picture theme. This channel, you need physician mentors. Why? You've got to decide now, what are your top 3? And in those top 3, how are you going to get there? These unique pathways are very different. And to do that, reach out. I'd be glad to guide and assist. We'll point you in the right direction and get you those physician mentors that you need. We're dedicated to your success and giving you practical, time-tested advice, that big picture view that you might not be getting in your own medical school. Career professional development, way down the road for your future in succeeding as a physician. So hit subscribe to the videos, leave a comment. What do you think med schools could do better to equip their students for selecting career professional pathways way into the future? Share the video with your classmates. Go to your deans and set up successful clinical experiences. It's going to be key, not just to winning the school lottery, but to actually succeeding in your career. In the meantime, continue to stay well, study well, and prepare well for that exciting path that's way out in front of you.